Mr. Fruit's top 10 games of 2025. I don't mean games released in 2025. I mean games I played in 2025, although the vast majority of the list will be games that came out in 2025. I just did a quick skim of my Steam library to remember what I played this year, which was like hundreds of games. The Steam median for games played is 4. I played 147. Might have forgotten something. Spoilers, I did indeed forget something, but I remember it as I'm making the list. Coming in at number 10, Arc Raiders. Only number 10, Mr. Fruit? I know. Okay. Well, there's a lot to fit in the list. Like I said, I played 147. Well, that's only on Steam. I played 150 plus games. Okay. Now, Arc Raiders coming in at 10 might seem like a bit of a crime, putting at the bottom. But let's talk about it. One of the games I was most excited for in a while, frankly. The tech test surprised me. I mean, it wasn't even on my radar. I kept thinking Marathon was going to be the extraction shooter to get me into extraction shooters. First extraction shooter I liked. I think the game does a lot. Now, on the entire list, I would give Arc Raiders my favorite audio design. I think audio design, maybe any game I played, it's incredible. But as far as gameplay-wise, I'm not even you give me a first-person shooter and a third-person shooter option, I'm always going to choose first-person. And yet, that didn't take away from Arc Raiders. Really enjoyed the third person, in fact, and I think it worked well. I love the fact that the Arc, the AI, the PvE, is actually a menace. And it doesn't matter if it's your first raid or your 100th raid. You're still worried about, like, aggroing that Rocketeer or too many wasps, or make sure you don't get hit by the ping bot, blah, 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 because it plays into such an interesting way. And one, that they're just super annoying to fight and actually, kill you. But then also the way that alerts other enemies. Not to mention the Raider Flare system, which might not seem that novel, but just having that little bit essentially alerting you anywhere on the map, you see it, you're like, somebody just died. As a whole W aficionado, I enjoy that. I see a flare, I abandon everything else I've been doing in that run towards the flare, maybe kill one person and ultimately die, and that's why progress was slow for me. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, but I think I fell off faster than I thought I would. It came out after I'd already been grinding content and games a bunch for like 2 months straight. Holidays were starting to hit, and then honestly the biggest thing, my friends stopped playing. The friends I'd be playing or recording with, most of them just kind of stopped playing or fell out of love or didn't really like it in the first place and were just playing because I wanted to play. The solo experience can be fun, but I'm not booting up Arc Raiders to solo. I'll do it every now and then if I'm trying to like grind, but I enjoy duos or trios the most. I play like it's team deathmatch, but yeah, I think it struck a really good balance of an approachable extraction shooter. And I think that goes without saying, because if you look at the concurrent players still, even on Steam, it's still over like 400,000 daily. It's kept like 95% of players from its peak, which is insane after like 3 months or whatever. But I didn't boot it up a single day in December. And I guess even in this new year either. Other things started happening. I was traveling, and honestly, I just got out of the rhythm. And part of the determining factor too is I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with content with it. I don't know, I was in a weird place. So it kind of but when I was playing it at launch, it was great. Some of my favorite gaming experiences. So why is it 10? I just think the fact that, I don't know, I'm sitting here and I haven't had the desire to boot up Arc Raiders in a while. A month and a half. Which is also just kind of how my brain works. But I really thought it would stand the test of time. We'll see with Marathon coming out. I have high hopes. I hope it's good. We'll see if that keeps me around. I don't know. I think just personal bias, the reason it's ranked at 10 was I let myself down. I don't know. I was thinking it was really going to be a game that I'd be able to hold on to and play again for a while. But my brain still checked out after a couple weeks, which was a bit of a bummer. But also, it's because there's a whole bunch of other games on this list that I enjoyed for a bunch of other reasons. And I think multiplayer games are hard to put in, because even if I look at my favorite games of all time or top games, I might really enjoy a multiplayer game, but most of the time I'm ranking single player games higher, because for me they're usually a tighter, more developed and complete package because they're designed to be that way. So I walk away from it usually because I beat the entire game, so there's like a clear point to stop playing. When there's a multiplayer game, I just play until I get bored. And so I walk away, I think, with like a better aftertaste of single player games. So I think that's part of it. But again, really, with my list, Arc Raiders could have been higher, but I decided to put it in at 10. Call me crazy. But before we go further, I actually have an honorable mention. Now, I didn't put this in the list. Well, one, I couldn't fit it. And two, it felt a little weird to put it. So, I'm giving it its own separate category. Hear me out. Skull and Bones. I know, Mr. Fruit, what the fudge are you going on about? It needed its own separate place on the ranking because it's a quadruple A game, baby. We're talking maybe triple A, double A, indie, but quadruple A gets its own honorable mention. Again, it's my own list, so I got to qualify it a little bit. Is Skull and Bones worthy of like probably a top 10 list of anything ever? No. But did I have a lot of fun with it this year? Yes. Put like 70 or 80 hours into it. And it was one of those things where I was just going through some stuff and it was there for me. So it holds a little special place in my heart. I had this terrible dizzy spell where like I could not do much of anything for like a month and a half. But when I did, I was somehow able to play Skull and Bones some. Grinded that. And yeah, I think the game gets more hate than it deserves. I don't need to try to defend it because I made a whole video about it. If you want to hear me try and reason with you why you should play Sea of Thieves, I think I would have called it Hear Me Out. Or I said Sea of Thieves. Freudian slip. Skull and Bones. Look at it and play it for what it is, which is more so like a pirate ship RPG, then I think it's pretty fun. So call me crazy. Honorable mention, Skull and Bones. Number 9, we have Split Fiction. Rob and I played through this one. Split Fiction could go higher on the list, but for me, I think it's coming in at number 9 because I have played all their other games. It's Hazelight, yes. I played A Way Out and It Takes Two. Phenomenal games, Split Fiction as well. It is a really unique, different sort of co-op game that you just don't get anymore, especially as a couch co-op game. I know a lot of people play it with their friends, their significant others. You can play it on the couch, online, either way. I think it does offer something pretty cool. Split Fiction, for me, I think the initial appeal and wow factor, or I guess feeling of something new and different, the novelty of it, didn't hit the same, because now that I played A Way Out and It Takes Two, you sort of see the formula. Not that that's bad, but so it didn't just wow me as much as the first ones. I enjoyed the story. The gameplay was pretty fun. The last boss fight was phenomenal. That was really cool. It was a cool, pinnacle moment. But I still think I would probably prefer It Takes Two. But yeah, I think the reason it's coming lower on the list is just simply because it wasn't quite as novel to me. But I still really enjoyed it. And if you're ever looking for a fun co-op experience, especially something that is digestible, I'm all for more games deliberately being shorter. Split Fiction, you can sit down, and I mean, if you grind it all day, you can get it. But, it's like 7 hours or something, really. You play through it. And I don't mind that. I don't mind games these days that know what they want to do and execute it in a shorter thing, because some people might be like, well, I paid this much, I want to get 80 bajillion hours of it, but that doesn't mean the game's going to be better. In fact, it could make the game worse. So I do enjoy some digestible game experiences now. Split Fiction offers that at a very high caliber. Split Fiction comes in at number 9 for me. I think Rob enjoyed it more than me. He'd put it higher. Here's a game that did not come out 2025. I actually played it a little bit, I think maybe back in 2023. Shogun Showdown. You might not even know what this game is, but you should, because I made a video on it. Shogun Showdown. is a tactical roguelike game. I'm not even sure what exactly you would call it. I mean, it's turn-based. It's almost like a puzzle game. What I enjoyed about it is it's super simple. So for me, I played all this off stream. I didn't record or anything. I grinded out like all the achievements and every unlockable and everything. But it is such a refined and again digestible roguelike. The controls are literally like left and right. That's it. You pretty much choose on the tile set or whatever, the battlefield. You want to go left or you want to go right, essentially. You queue up these certain cards that determine the actions, but it's all about carefully planned moves. You see what the enemies are going to do. You also, as you play the game, learn what enemies are going to want to do. You plan for it ahead. You essentially queue up a bunch of moves. Then you try and do some cool combo. And the fun part, too, is half of the game is actually just getting the enemies to kill each other by manipulating the battlefield and your certain tools, whether you can like switch with them, push them, all this sort of stuff. Again, it's very basic. There's not much to it, but I think that's why I enjoyed it so much. And the beautiful part of the game is they have just a couple mechanics, but they use them really well. And it feels much deeper than it is when you hear about it or see it or anything like, oh, there's just really not that much to it. But then you start playing, there's some different characters, you unlock some new abilities. It's a roguelike, of course, so there's progression and whatnot. And yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It is... My monkey brain loved it. This is actually the first game I bothered to play on Steam Deck. I'd lie in bed and actually play this, which I rarely do. I put in like 30, 40 hours or something, nearly 100% in it. But if you're looking for a fun, tactical game to play, and you like roguelikes, I don't think you can go wrong. They just had a clear goal, and they executed on it really well. Plus, it's cool pixel art, so I'm a little biased. But yeah, if you haven't heard of that, I would check it out. It's one of the few games on my list that was for 2025, but I had a bunch of fun with. And again, it was a game I grinded completely off camera, no content involved, which is a rarity for me, which is why I put it so high up there. Number 7, the next one is also not from 2025. Celeste. I forget how this happened. I think Rob challenged me. Is this how it happened? Maybe Rob was playing this. I think he challenged me to a speedrun or something. I don't remember how we got here. As a gamer, I took it personally, and I'm like, well, all right. So I finally revisited Celeste, because I played Celeste when it first came out, made a little video, never returned to it, which is a shame. I'm glad I did finally get to it. I understand why so many people love it. You want to talk about a near-perfect platforming game? Celeste. Same thing as Shogun Showdown, and I think is also the hallmark of a good game. It's not too complicated. It has a couple core mechanics or abilities, but then the way they utilize them or force you to use them, you'd be surprised. You'd learn a couple things, and then they do add some as you go through the story, but you're like, how could this get this crazy? You jump, you can maybe wall hang or like climb for a second, whatever. Oh, you can dash. Okay, interesting. Oh, you can dash and hit something which refreshes your dash. Okay. Oh, and now there's these... And it's literally based around just like jumping and dashing. And man, it's freaking hard. It gets insane. Which is also why it's so satisfying. I loved beating my head against the wall. Because that feeling, that euphoria you get when you beat one of those hard levels, especially towards the end, it's like beating your head against a Souls boss. That brief moment of euphoria of like, oh, yes. And then you go to the next screen, and then it's another puzzle, and then you repeat the whole process. But Celeste is a platformer. In terms of platforming, maybe my favorite platformer. Gorgeous game as well. Story was nice, deep, nuanced. Soundtrack was a banger. And it's just a shame that I hadn't played it before, but I'm glad, I guess, Rob challenged me so that I actually went through it all. Incredible. You're looking for a platformer. Celeste. Number 6. You guys didn't see me play this. Dispatch. So I actually have played and beaten Dispatch. I played it, however, with my wife. My wife and I did this for a couple date nights. And I'm glad, because had she not asked to play this, she brought it up as a suggestion. I'm like, I don't think I would have played it. Because from the get-go, if you know about it, it seems like a Telltale game. I believe that's what the company used to be called, with like their Walking Dead series or the Wolf Among Us or whatever, where it's pretty story-based, dialogue-heavy, and then your decisions matter. So it's mainly dialogue, and you kind of like, it's like an interactive story, but then it branches as you make decisions and with certain characters, or like if you do this, it kills someone, ball, which will have branching consequences later on into the story. That's what I kind of just thought Dispatch was, which it kind of is. But also, it has a weirdly addicting gameplay loop. Like, after playing this, I wouldn't mind if they just almost made the gameplay into a game itself. Just something really fun about it. Spoilers, you dispatch heroes. You act as an operator who essentially takes the heroes you have in your roster, and as things come up around the city, you get calls. You have to decide who goes where. Each one has their different strengths, so you have to try and pick and choose to see who would be best for the job. But then also, you're not always going to have the hero you want available, because they're either on the job, or they have to get back and they have to rest, or they're injured, blah blah blah. But they also level up. You can give them new attributes. They end up getting skills. So the gameplay part, which is probably why I really got intrigued, because if you know me, I like a good story. But your story could be perfect, but if your gameplay is dookie or non-existent, I probably just don't play it. I don't know what to... It's just my brain won't connect. So we did the first little dispatch, and I'm like, okay, I enjoy this. And then it's a good thing, because the story turned out to be incredible. The acting, the characters. If you too are hesitant or don't typically play games like this, I would say you wouldn't go wrong, or you wouldn't regret trying it. I'd say at least play the first like 2 episodes, and personally I think you'll be hooked. There's twists, there's turns, there's a lot of cool branching options. It was really fun seeing how the characters interact. It was I had to put it up here on the list pretty high, because this is a gamer genre that even after playing Dispatch, still, it's not like Arc Raiders, for instance, where it's like, ooh, maybe I'll play more extraction shooters. Now, I played Dispatch. This isn't going to make me now play more like story-focused choices matter games. It was like Dispatch was the exception. Yeah, it might be story-heavy, but must be pretty good if Mr. Fruit's putting it on his list if it's just about story. Okay, next up, we have First Berserker Khazan. I think the game that really solidified the fact that I do like Souls-likes. I ended up playing Elden Ring last year, which I think reminded me, ooh, maybe I do like Souls-like, because up until then, I think really I'd played Sekiro. And that was pretty much it. The exception, I didn't really play a lot of Souls-likes. Played Elden Ring finally, and I was like, okay, that was pretty sick. But I still didn't play other Souls-likes. First Berserker Khazan comes along, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why I gave it a shot in the first place. I think I remember seeing the trailer at the Game Awards and thinking like, oh, it's just some other weird anime-looking... And I think it was either that year or this year, but like, suddenly there's a lot of weird-looking anime like Souls-like, and I'm like, okay, this looks fine, I guess. Unironically, one of the top Souls-like, if you ask me. Now, granted, I haven't played all of them, but man, does it just do the Souls-like right? The story was okay, it's fine, whatever. I mean, you know, like, I'm not playing a Souls-like for the story straight up. I'm there to just beat my head against some bosses. And that's the important thing. First Berserker Khazan bosses, chef's kiss. Loved them. They were so much fun. They were well designed, well executed, and the combat was super sick. The different weapons, it somehow just made a really polished Souls-like experience, which I would not have expected. But if you like Souls-likes, you gotta check out Khazan. Plus it has parries. I'm just freaking know I love parries, which people keep telling me then I gotta play Lies of P. It is on my list. It seems like the parry Souls-like, so I do need to check it out. But yeah, I think First Berserker Khazan solidified the Souls-like as a genre I do enjoy. The bosses alone were what really shined for me. The in-between phases, as usual, is like, oh, okay, the mobs, whatever, but the little bit of progression, the skills, the weapon archetypes, and the bosses. First Berserker Khazan is a certified banger. Speaking of certified bangers, we're gonna up the list. So obviously they gotta bang harder. Hades 2, which works out because I actually just ended up beating Hades 2. Goated, unsurprisingly. I don't think that comes as a surprise because if you ask me, Supergiant Games, maybe my favorite developer. They are a developer where I don't care what their name shows up on the screen. I'm like, lock it in. Like a gamer, you know? Like, I look forward to whatever they do. Because frankly, I played all their games. I love all their games. They've never missed for me. Then they stepped into the roguelike, which is already my favorite genre, with Hades. Hades 2 comes around, and you would expect just more of the same. And it was. And then so much more. It is actually insane, the amount of content in Hades 2. And the game just keeps getting better. I'm not going to spoil things. But as you're playing, you're like, oh, this has to be it. What? Oh, this has to be it. But there's more. Okay, well, that must be... What do you mean there's like a whole other game in the game? It is incredible. The characters interacting and stuff were also great. The story's great. The gameplay is even better than Hades 1. They managed to refine it into something even better, and also, I think, upped the roguelike build variation run between run. I think it's just... like, it really is Hades, but better. And Hades was already great. So that speaks volumes. And the other thing, too, is I beat the game, and there's still more. Technically, I only beat, like, the main story. There's still a whole other story that my wife's trying to beat that I'm learning about. And then a whole bunch of side stuff. And then, yeah, as a whole, anyway, just a super fun game. I'd have a hard time. I'd have to make, like, another list of, like, my favorite roguelikes, but it has to be up there. Maybe number one. I don't know. It's every note you could possibly want for a roguelike for me. Gameplay's good. And then I actually don't skip the story. Most times. As I was going, every time I clicked a boon, maybe I'd skip some of the gods saying, like, what's up? Because also I want to kill things. But the main story and stuff I was interested in and engaged. So it's rare that I play a roguelike and actually pay attention to the story. Because... you know, it's like, I'm there to play a roguelike for the gameplay. Coming in at number 3. The Bazaar, baby. I know it technically came out at the very end of 2024. I don't know how I could possibly make this list and not put the Bazaar on, considering it was easily my most played game of 2025. One of my most played games, like playtime ever. I think it's like top 5 already. And it is just, holy, you want to talk about just scratching the right itch. I mean, it is, the Bazaar might have to be my number 1 roguelike. If that were the case, and Hades would be like number 2. It just does everything I want in a roguelike. What I love about roguelikes is the variance when you do run to run. And the Bazaar is a crazy place. That is the Bazaar. And what I love about it is no run is almost ever the same if you want it to be. I still think they could use a little more variance so you don't just like try to chase the meta every time. But there are games I've had where I just end the run and I'm like, that will literally never happen again. That was sick. I love me a good auto battler. Because sometimes I just like to, as I get older, you know, bit of a boomer, I like the 1 or 2 click games, okay? Sometimes I like to just be a little more strategic, but I have less energy. And the Bazaar does all of that, the fine tuning of the different items, and it really is just the amount of variables, and then it compounds from every decision to every day to every item, day after day after day after day. So you get to the end of the run, and maybe you didn't get 10 wins, but you cooked something up, you feel good about it, and then you somehow find the perfect counter, and then you lose at 9 wins, and then you crash out, but then you immediately queue up again. It's just the most replayable game I've ever played for me, where I'm like 800 plus hours or something. And I'm still not bored because there's just that much to do and different things. And I still think it's criminally underplayed. But a lot of that is, to be fair, they have mishandled PR at the start, monetization and stuff. Which if you haven't played it, a lot of that stuff's gone now. I think it's a lot better. It's still not perfect, but now there's a demo I think on Steam because now it's on Steam. But I don't know how I would put the Bazaar number 1, but breaking it down, there are other games I played this year that are just indisputably just incredible games that are a complete package, which I'll get to, but I can't say good enough things about the Bazaar. I think that's a difference. Like Arc Raiders, for instance. I thought I'd play that a whole bunch, but I still fell off. The Bazaar, didn't think I'd like that much. It's over a year later, and I'm still playing it. I can't tell you the last game I did that's the case. Like, literally. So, that alone is a big deal for me. But what could beat the Bazaar? Well, I'll tell you. The Hen Rizzler. I guess I can just put Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. My oh my. What a game. Increíble. Audentes fortuna juvat. What's crazy is I still haven't played the first Kingdom Come Deliverance. I won't play the first Kingdom Come Deliverance either. But you also don't need to. And what's crazy is on paper and in principle, 99% of the time, myself, Mr. Fruit, bouncing off that game. Ain't no way I'm making it through that. A dialogue, decision, story-driven RPG? Huh? Not Mr. Fruit. He doesn't have the patience for that. He doesn't have the attention span for that. You're not entirely wrong. And yet, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was the exception. I think that's also why I put a lot of these certain games on the list, is when they beat my expectations. They go against the norm, in which normally I'd be like, well, no, that's not a game I'm going to play. I don't really care. And then Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 comes along and says, are you yanking my pizzle? The difference between Kingdom Come Deliverance, the first one, and the second one for me, aside from jank, because I did play the first one when it first came out for a little bit, is the combat. Again, that's the major thing. I would have 100% bounced off, but it was that first sword battle. Couple hours in, because, man, they punch you in the balls at first. You get absolutely beat. You're like, this is impossible. What the fudge? This isn't fun. But then you realize that's kind of the beauty of it. How you're supposed to feel. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be a little more realistic. But then you also find out a lot of it's skill-based. And then once you get the hang of it, problem for me was I'm actually like, this is too easy. But you get to learn as you go, because the combat system is not common or really seen at all. And it's pretty innovative and challenging. And so it was the click of that first, I remember it was the first few hours into the game, a lot of yapping, a lot of dialogue, it's kind of slow. And I'm actually thankful I streamed it, because I felt obligated to at least keep going for the day, because the stream wasn't over. If I had played it by myself, that would have been it for the Kingdom. I would have just gotten bored and not continued. And I'm glad I did, because like I would have bounced off, I don't know, around hour 2 or 3. But it was around like, I think like hour 5 or 6, the switch happened. The flick of a switch, and I was in. I was bought in. It was that first fight where I freaking, like, you learn the Master Strike or whatever, and then you're like, okay. Then you come to love the characters, the story, and for me, what Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 does exceptionally well, one of the best to do it, is the actual immersive RPG feel, where what you do actually has a direct impact on almost everything in the game, whether it be the quest, whether it be the relationship with characters, whether it be the story. The attention to detail is insane. I'd be doing something, I'm like, I wonder if I do this, if it works like that. And then it would. And it's crazy. And then also learning the way they do the progression system. You have not only like strength and combat, vitality, but you have like speech, intelligence, religion, hunting, all these other skill attributes that actually improve as you do the thing. Like if you read more books, you get better at reading books, and more of it is actually legible, or you can actually talk to people about certain things, because otherwise you'll fail the checks. The more you do better deeds, the more chivalrous you'll be, the more you sneak and lockpick. My fault, I stole everything. The better you get at lockpicking. Like your lockpicking level 1, The most frustrating thing ever. Everything breaks. You can't open any locks. I'm like, this is stupid. But then, after you do like 50 locks, not only are you better at it, but Henry's better at it. I think that's what I enjoyed, is I actually felt like Henry and I were both learning and growing as we went through the game. Same with combat. Same with things, some of the systems like lock picking and whatnot, but also with like speech and religion and all that stuff. Because I didn't know much about the world or the characters or whatever, but then as we went and I learned more, both Henry and I was like, oh, that's that person. Oh, this is what's happening. But then also the way, yeah, things can play out. I forget the exact situation, but there was one side quest. I was in some random village. I was trying to blend in, I think, with enemy militia, and they were going to a village because they're like, they didn't give us enough taxes or whatever, so we're gonna, and like, we swear they're holding out on us, so we're gonna like ransack the village and find it because they're lying to us. So I'm like, yeah, bet. So we go there. I have to do some sleuth and detective work to try and see if I can like make good with the villagers and either be like, yo, like, I'm here to help, man. These guys suck. How can we make sure? And as I'm going, I discover and find out myself, they are indeed hiding rations. And there's like this thing hidden away. But as you go through the story, you also learn where they're coming from and the militia. And then you get to like make a decision. Am I going to like screw over the villagers? Because, well, I figured out where their hideout is and I can out them. And then we can get all those spoils. Or do I like play along and be like, couldn't find anything, sir. It looks like everything's in order. And before I even get to make the choice, funnily enough, though, I'm talking with like the captain of the unit or whatever mid-combat. And I told you, I kind of steal everything. So one of the villagers had like gone into their building and realized something was missing. And so came out and was suspicious. And while I'm talking, I can see in the background, they start to squabble with the enemy faction because they're like, what's going on? The enemy faction is already pissed. Somebody accidentally like hits one of the other, so then they start fighting. And while I'm in the dialogue with the captain, some villager NPC or whatever, like from the top rope, just shanks the captain I'm talking to, and he dies mid-conversation. And I'm like, what? And then the quest resolves itself. Like, they had the foresight that it could happen that way. And then it's sort of acknowledged that, like, well, I guess this will work and that. And somehow it wasn't janky. I was like, oh, we're going to get bricked out of this quest. Thanks for nothing. And then it resolves itself. And it was hilarious and random. It was like that true definition of like a role-playing game. I know there's different RPGs where like sometimes you're an RPG, but you play as a set character. But Henry, you can shape Henry however you want, essentially. Like, you are Henry. So being able to see how you can actually shape your character, the characters around you, the world, how the world will interact with all that stuff. I can't say good enough things. Not only that, but dialogue was incredible. Characters were rich and varied and hilarious at times. And the story itself was engaging, enthralling. The world itself is also huge. I spent, I want to say like 40-something hours in just the first area. Because also they have like all these different little mini games, essentially like blacksmithing. I could do that all day. I spent time in an area I believe it was like Trotsky or whatever, thinking like, okay, well, this is pretty good. But like, I want to explore and do a lot of this stuff because that's just how I do open world games, and I'll eventually do the main story. So I spent a lot of time just roaming the first region. And know how I'm saying first region, I thought that was the game. And then something happens in the story. And after all that time, suddenly I enter a second region to find out it's even bigger than the first. It's like, oh? Not even knowing that was a thing, and then realizing this game is massive. And even after I beat it, there are still so many unresolved quests and plots I can finish, side missions I didn't take on. There's now been like 2 DLCs added. The tough part is if my number 1 didn't come out this year, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was going to clear for me. Oh, I was playing it in February, and I'm like, that's crazy. Game of the Year already came out. Ace Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And I was like, there's nothing will beat this. And then spelled that wrong. Expedition 33. I mean, you probably heard about it, seen it at the Game Awards or whatever. Like, oh, brother, brother, it's been getting the glaze, the freaking for a reason, my guy. I was doubtful, and again, this was one of those situations too where I'd heard about it or whatever, but like, I didn't play it until like a week or two after release. Wasn't hurrying about it. I was like, whatever. But my wife ended up playing it. And she was the one who's like, you gotta play this. You're gonna like it. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. Well, turns out, yeah, she knows me quite well. Not only did I like it, I freaking loved it. For plenty of reasons, but two of them being the actual gameplay. I love turn-based games. I know some people think it's archaic, but I love turn-based games. And I love parrying. So they put in some real-time action combat with turn-based strategy. You mean to tell me I got to play turn-based strategy and parry? It was almost as if the game was made for me. That's my headcanon, at least. And that's all well and good. And that would have put it pretty high. Gameplay was incredible. But that's the thing about Expedition 33. For me, I am very easily putting Expedition 33 in my top 3 games of all time. Now, I'm hesitant to say where exactly, because I have to really think about that. But just like with the list and what I was talking about, like why Arc Raiders was 10, Expedition 33 is the complete package. Ask me about any part of a video game, Expedition 33 does it phenomenal. I don't even know where to start. I mean, like, gameplay, incredible. Super in-depth, tons of variety. As you go along the upgrades, you'll get the different pictos, which is sort of like perks, the way you can customize the loadouts of each character, and then the way characters can interact with each other, and the stat, like, the RPG system itself within the turn-based is already deep enough. Then you get to learn the fights, like a Souls game, essentially. You learn the patterns, parry, parry, parry. You can dodge, but obviously, as soon as I started the game and realized there's a dodge and a parry, I did a parry only. I only ever parried in the game. Visual style. I know some people, especially, I think it's just like haters, just hating things that are popular, especially with like the Game Awards and stuff, but there'll be random clips and being like, oh, it just looks like typical Unreal Engine 5 slop, or like, oh, there's nothing really different about it. What? Well, you're just wrong. And also they like cherry pick clips. The game has a purposeful and distinct art style that works together, and also is so varied, playful, whimsical, because of certain elements in the story and stuff. And I'm not going to spoil anything, because if you don't know anything about the story, good, keep it that way and go play the game. Believe me, I thankfully got to play it all spoiler free, which after playing, I'm like, this, it's almost a miracle. Made it 1,000 times better, by the way. But so you got the good gameplay, you got the distinct visual style. I almost never talk about, I mean, I talked about Arc Raiders audio design, but like music, let's talk about like music, soundtrack. Let me put it this way. I still listen to Expedition 33 songs. I don't do that with any video game ever. I don't seek a soundtrack. I don't play the songs after I play the game. Half the time, I could be doing something and not even realizing there's this cool song going. Like, it's just kind of there, and I'm just kind of like vibing with it, but I'm not like, what is this? However, with Expedition 33, I feel like that was almost every other song or every other boss fight. Some of them are insane or super emotional. Soundtrack, I can't say good enough things about that. And then the story. Oh, the story. That's what I'm saying. You got all these things. Okay. But then the story. Peak. Incredible. There's twists. There's turns. There's highs. There's lows. You never quite know where you're going. But the one thing you do know is you love the world. You love the characters. And you'll love where it goes. Eventually, you'll come to love the whole thing. After every story beat, I was constantly like, I gotta figure out what happens next. We gotta do the next thing. Where does this go? Or if there were things to do off the side for like different characters in your party to learn more about them or something, wanted to do that, wanted to learn as much as I could. I don't know how to put it to like accurately express how I feel about Expedition 33. But it's just every ingredient in the final product is a masterclass, frankly. Which I know just sounds like glazing, but it is. The only bad thing I have to say about the game is I wish it scaled, or they gave me an option. And I say that because, well, you know me. I don't beeline the story. So I do the story, but then the world opens up to you, and so of course I'm doing all the side stuff. And then it was kind of into a couple of beats into the story where I realized I think I'm a little over-leveled for this because I did so many side story things. The only thing I wish they did different was enable an option so that there was like dynamic scaling, because I want to experience all the other content, because all the side stuff too is it's not just like filler. So many cool things. So I wish I could have done that, then gotten back to the story and not felt like I possibly diminished a fight or an experience because I had spent some time going there otherwise, because there's no perfect balance. If I go through that, then I'm going to be higher level to go back to the side missions, and then I'm over leveled for the side missions, so it doesn't hit the same. That's really my only gripe. Otherwise, Expedition 33, man. What else can you say? Literally, if you haven't played it, just play it. Just do it. And if, well, first off, I think by the end of the first story beat, I'll just say this. IMO. Once you get done with the beach, I think you'll be hooked, personally. But if you're not, give it another hour or two. And then if you bounce off, okay, fine. Fair play. But I really don't think you will. And if you see the whole thing through, you'll thank me. Especially if you're able to stay spoiler-free. Which also I should talk about too. I guess the other thing is the character performances. The acting, voice acting, all that stuff. Top-notch across the board. You know, for me, playing a lot of games too, it's hard to get an emotional attachment or get emotional about things happening to characters or just events happening in a story, but Expedition 33 hit me in all the feels. So yeah, it was an unlucky year for Kingdom Come, because otherwise, I mean, like the fact that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I don't even know if it won like an award at the Game Awards, which is crazy, but also just speaks of how much crazy stuff there was this year, because it deserves something. It unfortunately gets a little overshadowed this year because of Expedition 33, but as I say that, that's for a reason. I would glaze Expedition 33. I know a lot of people have asked, and yes, you can now watch my entire Expedition 33 playthrough over on my Mr. Fruit Uncut YouTube channel. I just uploaded the first episode, and the rest will be coming within a few days of each other, so I hope you guys enjoy. But now, you know, I was supposed to save number one for last. I did forget about a game, and so instead of just moving the numbers, I am going to slot it in here. Okay, so forgive me, it's not perfect. Ghost of Yotei. Now you might be like, if you liked this so much, how did you forget it? You underestimate my mind. Out of sight, out of mind, quite literally. So yeah, when I was going back through all the games I played this year, like I said, I looked through my Steam. Well, yeah, I played Yotei on my PlayStation, which I just don't even think about because literally aside from Yotei, I didn't touch a console this year. I didn't play anything else. So good. Now, this is where my personal bias comes in, because I will go ahead and tell you Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I think, is a better game. Just objectively than Ghost of Yotei. With that said, I liked Ghost of Yotei more than Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That's an important distinction. And what I think also people forget when looking at, you know, people's lists. Like, I can sit here and tell you, as a whole, I think, yeah, that game is better, but I like this one better. To Ghost of Tsushima, if I have to rank them, I still put Tsushima above Yotei. But there's a caveat. I think they're like neck and neck because for me, Yotei gameplay, better, but Tsushima story, better. Yotei's story wasn't bad, but it was, I'd say, a little like safer, perhaps, more tried and true. But I didn't feel the same way emotionally as I did with Jin and Tsushima, and I think a lot of those reasons is just because of the emotional beats. Like, in the same way with Henry and Kingdom Come Deliverance, I feel like I'm playing and learning as I go with Henry. With Yotei, you just kind of get placed into this situation. The character is how they are already, and then you're just sort of told the motives, and then you go and do them. With Jin and Tsushima, you go into the story, but you see the whole thing unfold in real time, and it feels like you and Jin are being shaped with each other at the same exact time. And so all of it hits different because instead of, it could kind of be like a time skip in like Tsushima if like they just placed you midway into the story. And then they're like, okay, well, so like this happened before and that's why he's like this, but like here you go. And it just wouldn't hit the same. That was the main difference. But aside from that, Yotei did everything Tsushima did, but better. World, I think, as a whole, if you add everything there, it was almost about the same size. But the density, I think Yotei did a way better job. It really feels like there's something in every nook and cranny. And it took me forever because, like, you know, of course, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go here, A to B. And that never happened. Because sure enough, along the way, you find something. Something happens. Something distracts you. Something takes you this way. And then the gameplay. Gameplay was chef's kiss. Incredible. The different weapons instead of stances for this, I think I liked. I know some people didn't like. But I like that for sort of the counter system. And yeah, it was just an evolution on what I already enjoyed. And so in that department, I think Yotei definitely wins. But I'm also I just love Samurai. I love the open world games like this where, like, I know some people don't like them. Like the Ubisoft gamified open worlds. And I can get tired of them too. But also, I do enjoy them from time to time. I don't want to do that, you know, every game I play. But with Yotei having that sort of like so much stuff to do, things to check off, things to do. I mean, that freaking works with me. And again, even though the story wasn't as good, personally, just because it wasn't as good as the last game, doesn't mean it was bad. It was still good. Still enjoyed the various beats. I really enjoyed the different regions because it added a lot of visual change, the unlocks, everything about it. Yeah, Yotei was great. But again, I think as a game and sort of pioneering or, I don't know, like really game-changing wise, did Yotei do as much as Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? No, which is why I think, you know, like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I think as a whole is a little more ambitious in that regard, but Yotei was just, it's like some good comfort food, you know? It's just like a slice of pizza. It's my favorite food. So, yeah, it hit. But am I going to say, I don't know, this slice of pizza is better than, I don't know, some like insane 5-star culinary thing that I eat once and I'm like, this is incredible. No, I'm probably sure that's better, but like, am I ever going to turn down pizza? No. And I just like pizza more. Yeah. I think that would be my top 10 list of 2025. Mostly games of 2025, not exactly. Now I just want to take a second and explain something because I already know a lot of people will be asking me why Hollow Knight Silksong isn't on the list. And the answer is simple, really. I haven't played it. And that's because I haven't played the first Hollow Knight either. I've been waiting to play Hollow Knight as a Let's Play, but figured it would be more fun to play it leading right up into Silksong's release. But of course, they practically shadow dropped it, and the announcement didn't give me enough time to make it happen, so I delayed it until I had enough time to do so. And good news, that time is right now. I'm actually going to start them both starting next week. I'll be beginning my Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight Silksong January marathon. So if you want to watch along, I should be multi-streaming on both this YouTube channel and my Twitch channel, Mr. Fruit, link in the description. Great year for games, if you ask me. Because There were plenty more I couldn't fit. And even like as I remembered Yotei, I remembered Shape of Dreams. That was a really good roguelike I played. And there's so much more, Monster Train 2, but also other games that couldn't make the list. But for me, out of all 150 plus games, whatever I played last year, this would be my top 10 in terms of enjoyment, time played, all that sort of stuff. So let me know if you agree or disagree, what you would put where. Feel free to yell at me because it's my opinion, but just know your opinion's wrong. So, because that's how opinions work. Mine is right and yours is wrong.